Chris, since we've been on air, there's been some breaking news just announced, actually, that France are to begin airstrikes on the Islamic State in Syria. And also, David Cameron today is expected to be in Parliament, and they're going to vote on whether to extend the airstrikes from Iraq into Syria. You've spoken about this in the past, that the effectiveness of this all depends on intelligence on the ground.
Absolutely. First of all, it'll be what they are hitting, what are they targeting. I think one area should be the key members, the higher echelons of ISIS. Now, these are the guys who were in the Ba'athist Party. They were Saddam Hussein's intelligence officers, you know, the high-ranking generals, very, very clever men. Now, they have kept in the shadows by directing these thugs and murderers on the lower levels, and this is what we see on TV all the time. They'll also be targeting military emplacements, personnel, and alike. But I would imagine you'll have special forces on the ground directing them onto target and using drones as weapons platforms as well as fast air and jets. And
they, the guys on the ground, they laser target.
Yes, they do. You have a device that you lock onto a target, and then when the jet releases the missile, it picks up onto the laser, and it's very, very accurate. And then you don't have the risk of having any collateral damage of bringing in civilians.
But civilian casualties is inevitable in these places.
Sadly, it is. When you start dropping bombs in built-up areas, there will be civilian casualties.
As you, once again, with your experience, and you read over the past few weeks of commentators who understand the conflict, ex-Secret Service bosses saying this could be the war of a generation because it is, as you've got in the book here, and there's a potential for it rolling out for these various factions to unite against us. How do we ever extricate ourselves from this?
Well, we won't. And if we just go with bombing, it's not going to finish this conflict over there. Sadly, the only way we will destroy IS is by having boots on the ground, and that would be led by the Americans, and I don't believe the Americans will make a move until we've had the presidential elections, because it is pretty negative, you know, going back into that area. But as IS are allowed to roam and hold large areas, we're going to see even more refugees looking for a safe haven.
Do you think British troops should go in on the ground?
I think it should be a European-led invasion with the American backing. Everybody. This is a European problem we're having with all these poor refugees having to find somewhere, you know, safe to live. It's never ending if we don't do something about it.
Didn't we fall into this trap before the Arab Spring? You know, we supported, in some way
quite
were the instigators,
where we destabilised the whole of the Middle East,
but without having anything to fill the vacuum afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. This was predicted in 1991. I can remember being an SAS soldier and actually speaking to Norman Schwarzkopf. And as a soldier, you know, I said, why aren't we running up into Baghdad to take out Saddam Hussein? And he said, listen, if we take that regime out, who will replace it? It'll either be taken over by religious fundamentalists, the whole of the Middle East will implode, and he said, we'll have problems for the near future.
And that was in 91?
91. He predicted everything that happened. And he said, if there's not an infrastructure set up to take over or put a new regime in there, it will not work. And, you know, that guy was right.